Hello everyone, it's Tuesday today and we're here to serve you a fresh episode of Homo Politicals. I'm Cyril Abaku, standing for Citizen Jones Hussein. So let's get the ball off the ground. The behemoth finally has its back on the ground. South Africa's ANC loses majority in parliament for the first time in 30 years. Now, I hope it's not too much to remind you of Amalenze the cat. Amalenze the cat was a character, a champion wrestler who defied conquest in Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. He never let his back touch the ground. If you know wrestling very well, when a wrestler's back hits the ground during combat, the whistle goes, signifying defeat. It's the case with the ANC of South Africa at the moment. And frankly, it's not a savory tale. The final results of the tumultuous South African election have been declared, confirming that the ruling African National Congress Party lost its majority stake for the first time since the end of apartheid. If you're familiar with the country's political landscape, it's the same land where a former South African president once boasted that the African National Congress would rule until the second coming of Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus is not back. And even if he did tonight, the ANC's dethronement would have preceded the second coming. The party managed to garner only 40% of the vote. In the words of the ANC's Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, let me quote, "Nothing to celebrate. It's the will of the people, and that is what we must accept." End quote. Which way the ANC? My guest for today's episode is none other than Barrister Evans Ufeli, attorney at law, attorney from Rabbi, and of course, a well-known African affairs analyst. Barrister Evans, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you.
Is the ANC heading for the slope?
Well, the way the BBC captured it, the BBC wrote the story as though something terrible has happened to Africa. And I was wondering, but I don't blame the reporter who wrote that, because the ANC is very popular, had been and was always popular, okay? And because it is a party that have an apartheid leaning, that fought white domination in South Africa. At that time, so many countries had compassion for South Africa as to what was ongoing.
Yes.
And a party spearheaded the struggle and did the seeming defeat. Then for 30 years standing, the party was strong on its feet, had all the trappings to fight at every point in time, dominate parliament. The laws we've had for the past 3 decades, if the party was not involved, you could not pass a law in parliament. So it was shocking to see that, the same party lost its grip. Lost it at a time when the South African economy, is having serious challenges.
Yes.
Where the executive have, on several occasions tried to ensure that the economy is kept afloat, at least in the African hemisphere, to be counted as the best and maybe in the forefront. But right now, the option open to the party now is to look for alliances. Sadly so.
Yes.
So that is the beauty of democracy. We had something similar to that in Nigeria when the PDP was in power. The PDP, when they said they will rule for 60 years.
Yes.
You understand? But after some years, the APC, by its merger and all that, the ACN rather, by its merger and all that, they, conquered the PDP. And today, the PDP is a far cry in terms of power and context as to be for the center. So, but the South African case is quite surprising, because even before the election, the hopes were high. Okay, even though there were people who said, this party may have an issue.
Yes.
That a lot of people are pulling out from support and all that. But one of the things I think we must state here now is that the umpire, okay, like the president said, that the voice of South Africa have been heard.
Yes.
This is what the people want. He confirmed that this outcome is a reflection of the people's wish. I don't know what informed that, but I think maybe because of the sanity of the process and how the process was hitch-free,
yes,
and their votes actually counted, and people actually took that decision to pull out.
Well, let's even come to the crux of the matter now. It's like two roads diverging in the woods, right?
Yes.
The one will be taken, one will be taken. But in our own case, we'll come to the one before we go to the other.
Yeah.
Now, there are two options, really. It is either the ANC goes into a coalition
Yes.
with the DA,
Yes.
popularly considered to be a white people's party,
White People's Party, yes.
but which the business class largely would like to see in a coalition with the ANC,
Yes.
or it goes into its nemesis, the EFF,
Yes.
Julius Malema and his wild,
yes.
crusaders, if that's what we use.
Freedom fighter.
Yes, economic freedom fighters. Where Marxist, socialist, where do you see the ANC heading?
Well, the ANC, they have not, they don't have a statement out there for now. But we know that they have these two options to explore. Okay. So it's left for the leadership of the party to choose this day whom they will serve. Whether to go for the populist, public-driven Melamis, which usually most times with the Marxist theory and all those,
yes,
most of which are expired theories.
Yes.
Theories that were propounded in Greece, and today Greece is for sale. You understand, by the likes of the philosophers, early
even
philosophers.
China and Russia have abandoned them long ago.
Greece is not to say that the root of human knowledge emanated from Greece.
And to see where
Athens, yes, to be specific, that's the capital of Greece.
Yes.
And to say that this is where Greece is today. I cannot believe that Aristotle was from Greece. I cannot.
Yes.
That Socrates and this Fernandez, Euripides, Thales, the greatest minds that existed before Christ. Before Christ even came, they were BC.
Yes.
I mean, I am surprised. It tells you that perhaps knowledge is not enough.
Yes, it's not.
Maybe application of knowledge is stronger than having knowledge itself. That is why,
as some say, right application.
Right application.
Yes.
There was a conference I had in Harvard some time ago where they said the gap between knowledge and doing is wider than the gap between ignorance and knowledge.
Oh, come on.
So it means that what you know is not enough. The application, right application of what you know is what determines where you are. So the South African case is one that, well, for me, if I'm in that party, the ESCO of that party, or the National Working Committee of that party, I will ask that we need to teach towards a party that have capacity to restore that which have been stolen. And I don't think the Melamis wing have that dexterity. So now they need more than the party need more than just rescue. It needs sustainability, and then it needs a projection, because I think the party yearns seriously for where it used to be. Nobody wants to fall from grace and remain down there in the grass. Okay, you want to go back to where you used to be. The popular angle and all that. So they will need to do that seriously.
Now, let's even come to another important issue in this election. Hope I don't murder the name. Nkomto where Sizwe.
Yes.
That was the party founded by Jacob Zuma. When he couldn't find his way back into the ANC. You know that the ANC forced him from power, made him to resign under very difficult circumstances because of the corruption and everything. The party was trying to save himself, but at the time they made him resign. But the fact is that politics is often a lot more than just right and wrong. Zuma had what in Nigeria we call structure. He had a base. Now in this election, Zuma took 14% of the vote, which normally would have been for the ANC. But because he proved that he took 14%, if you add 14 to 40, that means 54. Which would have been a narrow win for the ANC. Should they go back and should they take a peace offering, go back and mend fences with Mr. Zuma? Or where do you see this playing out in the mix?
But Zuma feels highly offended.
Sure he does.
He's bitter. He knew that even what he was doing was not to win, but to sabotage
the ANC.
to ensure that ANC gets a shortfall, that they are not able to compete again.
Politics.
It's called politics. So it's left
for
to
a
them.
reason.
Yes, it's left to them. It's like the Atiku dilemma.
Yes.
The Peter Obi Atiku dilemma. When Peter Obi in the Nigerian sphere pulled out from PDP, he pulled out from PDP and pulled some people out in support. People who would have supported PDP ordinarily.
Yes, to win.
The larger southern area and south area and the southeast area largely would have supported PDP in the presence of Peter Obi in PDP in the Nigerian case. He pulled a lot of them and pulled out an emerging young, those who just became 18 and had registered. They became the obedient. Now you now have that movement. So it's similar to what has happened, because Zuma does not look like someone who wants to associate any longer with the ANC. But he needs to also project himself. If he's going to be politically relevant, he cannot remain in that small corner. So why I do not ask him to stretch forth his hands, I ask that if they stretch their hands towards him, that coalition will make, but it should come with a price. It should come with a negotiation that will keep both parties afloat.
But the case for and against Zuma is steeped almost entirely on corruption. The Nkandla upgrades. He's gone to jail. He's back. There is no negotiation with Mr. Zuma that will not hover around graft. Is this a line the ANC wants to tow?
It's scandalous. It's scandalous. The ANC they are in a crossroad. That's what I think. They're in a crossroad because they never bargained for this. So this is the time to actually have tough political thinkers.
Pragmatic thinkers.
Pragmatic who will look at the odds. You understand? Look at the odds proper, like someone who plays chess. And then look at what can we do to remain popular. What decisions can we take to fill in the void and still remain popular? Because right now, they are in a murky water.
Perhaps a double-blind survey.
Very, very murky water.
Reach out to the party mobilizers at the grassroots. Know what they think, what they want. Because it may appear that in a reconciled South Africa, it won't hurt if there was an attempt at forming a coconut coalition. Black and white are now the same. There is no more apartness as the word apartheid means. So if we're no longer apart, we can indeed be together. Because the DA appears to be the closest to the sort of philosophy and ideas that the ANC should ideally stand for. Will it be too much for them to have a coalition with the DA since they are all one South Africa?
But you see, anything that you project in South Africa, that you are asking the whites and the blacks to come together for any purpose, you have to go beyond politics. The apartheid experience is one that every South African is so conscious of. They are so conscious of it that once you bring a narrative that will take them to mingle with the whites in purpose to do anything, they begin to remember how that the whites may go back to enslave them. No matter how we think the world has. These people are so emotional about this apartheid thing. If you look at their poetry, if you look at their music, if you look at, it's all about their apartheid experience. Nothing about focus, nothing about encouraging the human spirit to rise from its desolate place. It's about the fact that, so you need more than politics. What I mean is, if you want to go that route, you need a lot of reorientation, perhaps a lot of schooling and public speaking, and addressing the people that South Africa has come of age. Whatever happened at apartheid happened because the world was at that corner then, and this issue of race or racism was not properly managed. Because both sides had their histories, and what became of the bitter experience of the blacks was a result of the white marginalization. And the painful thing about it was that it was minority marginalization.
Yes.
You understand?
Marginalizing the majority.
Marginalizing the majority. So it is so painful to them. But because the white people are the ones who saw the light first and tried to lead and tried to bend these people towards a particular direction, the blacks feel that they own the space, that they are the natives.
Yes.
But the whites came with all the technology, all the development you see in South Africa today is engineered by the whites. And because they stayed back, some white guys, I met a white guy in South Africa. His great-grandfather was born in South Africa. His own grandfather was born in South Africa. His father was born in South Africa. Yes. So how do you, because it's a kind of colonization that you cannot really sever. Like people came and they did what they have to do and go back. Yes. They didn't go back. They stayed put. Yes. You understand? The weather was favorable. Yes. The climate was okay. They had the land where what they did in Europe they could do there. Yeah. They plant vines and produce wine and so on. Yes. and the rest of that. So it was more home for them, yes. And they took that side. So for you to talk about any of such that will bring them together, it should go beyond politics.
Well, I mean, for example, there's cricket, there's rugby. You have the Springbok. Upon attaining, shall I say, freedom or multiracial democracy, I think it was Mandela that said, don't change the name of, because Springbok is a white animal, but he said, don't change it. So whether it's white or black, it's ours. Now, as we take this discussion home, let me take the second quote from Fikile Mbalula. Quote, the African National Congress commends the people of South Africa for once again demonstrating the strength and vibrancy of our democracy. The results send a clear message to the ANC. We wish to assure the people of South Africa that we have heard them, we have heard their concerns, their frustrations, and their dissatisfaction. End quote. Barrister, dissatisfaction is a word I take seriously. Because in the end, I mean, this was a free and fair election, quite all right. People chose to vote. Some voted for the incumbent, Wesizwe and so on. The DA kept their base. The EFF, of course, has making inroad. They also kept their base. But assuming that this wasn't even so much about the people's vote and more about politics as it is, Jacob Zuma taking his own, the DA taking his own, what's his name? EFF also taking their own. Tomorrow, I mean, in freedom, anybody can split and take his own. Should it be about the ANC, or is there an alternative political formation that could come up and engender either a black cause or a purely pan-South African cause? And where will that leave things in
it shouldn't be about ANC. It shouldn't be about ANC.
Yes.
It's about political ideology.
Yes.
They all went to the polls to sell their political ideology. And by that interface with the people, every political party that went there to sell itself made a mark in the minds of the people. They came up with different political philosophy as to addressing the issue South Africa has been facing. Remember, the ruling party, have not been able to address most of the issues the South Africans face on a daily basis. Yes. They had issue of power. That was prolonged.
ESCOM, yes.
Yes. Now they had the issue of xenophobia. They had issues of economic downturn. The economy nosedived. They had issue of unemployment, a very devastating one, and all that. And that the party could not. So when Jacob Zuma came up with his philosophy and other parties, alternative reality that South Africans could actually have the following, which is not the focus of the party at hand. It's just like in the Nigerian case where we've had just one narrative up until Peter Obi came. Peter Obi is the first person from whom we can draw the inspiration from that any Nigerian can actually make that attempt. Before now, we'll be looking at you, your pedigree, from your cabal, from where you are coming from, how are you able to put up. But he came and made it look like, yes, a man can, of his own volition.
Yes, break away.
You understand? Break away, sell himself, sell a vision. Peter Obi started at the platform. at the platform by telling Nigerians about the wastages this government did and how he cut down wastages as a governor. That's how it started. And the narrative became viral. You understand? So we know that it's not just unidirectional. Politics cannot be unidirectional. And that is what the ACN have shown us, ANC has shown us all this while.
Yes.
You understand? Now, their failure or they are shortfall, what they are going through today is as a result of the product they have kept on ground. When people have given us counter narrative that there's a better option somewhere, and some persons have believed it. So it shouldn't be about just that party. It should be about politics. It should be about the party that can provide solution to the problem. And that is what I think is the growth of democracy. When it happened to us in 2015, there were a lot of us who said that perhaps one of the best things we have done is to change incumbency.
Yes.
That your ability to change incumbency means there is growth or there's a seeming growth. It's just that we met the brick wall.
Yes.
Because we got it worse than it should have been ordinarily with the ruling party.
Yes. Oh, well, I must thank you, Barrister Evans Ufeli, for your time on Home Politicals today.
You're welcome.
Perhaps in 60 seconds, you can wrap your thoughts and tell the ANC what you think they should be doing now.
Well, what I think ANC should be doing now is to explore their option, and that is to look for coalition and to find their footing, because it's a sad thing that you are losing power in parliament. What it means is that your manifesto and whatever you think you can put forth is already at the verge of collapse. Okay, and that is why. So they must get the best of political thinkers. Okay, to advise them on what to do, whether to follow the Melami wing or to follow whichever wing they think is better for them to regain support.
Yes.
And one other thing they should also know is that in politics, you don't arrive. Because at some point, I was following the rhythm and I saw that they relaxed at some point that, we will always clinch it. I mean, we'll be there for 30 years. They were inertia and all of that. But by and large, South Africans will want a better system, a government that will deliver on the promises of democracy. And they are not willing to compromise on that. Okay. The development that they yearn for, they have seen it sprinkled around some other political parties.
Yes.
That they are making such, proclamation. The people are watching and they are taking their stance. We should not say the heavens have fallen because a political party lost its seat. But we should look at the bigger picture. How about an alternative that can surpass the ANC success of the ANC?
All right, South Africa for a long time has been known as the Rainbow Nation. And for many, there was a time there was indeed the hope that this could be Africa's beautiful one. But has it been born? That's the question. Perhaps this time more than ever is a moment in the history when they have to demonstrate the ability to come together, politics apart, economics apart, come together to build a nation despite what might have been the outcome of the election. Once again, thanks to you, Barrister Ufeli, for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
Certainly. And until we come away again, bye for now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.